The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today. Are you a band, artist, or event coordinator and tired of being a victim to the algorithm? Do your show announcements get lost with fans missing out on your gigs? Well, say goodbye to that hassle because the StrugglingArtistPodcast.com has just launched a brand new, super easy event submission form. You just fill out the event or band name, the show details, and then you hit submit, and that's it. Your event instantly appears on the beautiful new interactive calendar, keeping your fans in the know. It's the simplest way to get your show or your event in front of the right people. No more missed gigs, no more missing a show due to an algorithm. Submit your next show or event in just 30 seconds. Go to the StrugglingArtistPodcast.com and click on Event Submission now. You know, we met at right, was it right before Pooza? Yeah, I think I met you at the Coffin Salesman show the night before.
Yeah, Goodbye, Blue Monday, and Coffin Salesman at Faces. Yep.
Yeah, and then we ran into each other obviously at Pooza. I saw Little Low play, which was an absolute delight to do. So
nice. Thank you.
And then we've run into each other here and there. I've noticed since then. You book shows, right? You book show, and I didn't know you book shows at O'Brien's, badass metal shows at O'Brien's.
Yeah.
So, do you stick to metal there, or do you kind of float all over?
No, honestly, I rarely do metal. It was just I lived in Oakland for like 9 years, and I booked shows while I was out there. The kids I made friends with when I moved back to Boston started hitting me up, and I guess this Oakland metal band that I wasn't friends with found my Instagram just because other Oakland bands had reposted it, and they asked me to hook them up with the show. So I actually met Glowing Brain that night. I didn't know them from like living out in the Bay or anything, but
okay.
O'Brien's, I do anything really, any style I'll try to bring to O'Brien's if it's something that I personally like, or something where it's like a smaller touring band that I don't know if like if they're having a hard time and I don't think they're going to get something else, but I like them, I'll try it anywhere in the city really. I'm not I don't like to divide, I don't like dividing lines. Like I don't book one genre, I don't book one place. And yeah, I try not to book the same 4 bands on every single show just because I don't like that personally, and I'm hoping that resonates with other people,
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's awesome. That's where where I always talk, so people talk about like the scene, and I'm like, I call it a community because it's like that, like what you're doing, like you try not to like pigeonhole anything, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like it is a community, and like the old adage is like it takes a village. Like it's not like I'm not the only one who books shows. I hope I'm not the only one who thinks that way when I do book shows or when other people book shows. But yeah, I just don't want it to seem like performative or like I'm only hooking up my friends' bands. I only like this one style of music, because putting your life in a box it's useless. It's annoying. There's no room for growth. You're never gonna play to new people. You're never gonna meet new people, and you're gonna have the same experiences over and over again at the same place with the same bands. Nothing new or exciting is gonna come to you from that.
And I was just thinking just now, it just popped into my head. So I edit a podcast for somebody, and I was doing like he's like, oh, I got new episodes in there, and one was with you, Scott at DCPC.
Oh, you edit his? Cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm like part of his like little production team, so I was like, oh, I know this guy.
yeah. Hell yeah. No, I saw DCXPC and I knew what the live recordings were about. But then when Scott tagged us on a playlist that he put us on, I was like, oh, cool. Um, and then I saw that he also did a podcast. So, naturally I'm like, all right, I'm on my fucking album promotion tour.
Hmm.
Let's see what he's into. Let's see if he's interested in having me on because he put us on a playlist. And, from there, like we had a really good conversation. I think honestly, anybody who watches this and is from Massachusetts is probably like, "Oh yeah, it's wild that Mike is talking this much because he's normally in the corner with his arms crossed alone." Um, I always
Yeah,
forget that I like talking a lot for some
yeah, yeah.
reason.
No, I hear you. I hear
It
you.
brings it out in podcasts, but I think Scott was like trying to go, and I was like, "No, man, like, what's your daughter going to school in Buffalo for?" Like, I was
I,
just
I know.
having a
I saw that. I when I heard him say, "Trev, cut this out," so I cut that part out. You know.
yeah, I just kept the combo going for some reason, but yeah, it's funny. Until like honestly, like for the 5 minutes before this one too, I was like, shit, what am I gonna say? Like, oh, you're such an idiot. Why do you do this to yourself? But you just get a flow at things, and I'm sure, the hosts help. I don't always know exactly what to talk about, but if you get me talking, I'll tell 5,000 fucking stories about something.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, that's how I met Scott. It was a cool conversation, and I hope one of the bands gets to play. He books in the Hudson Valley, so like above the city, below Albany in New York. Hopefully, we'll get on one of those shows at some point.
yeah. I think you will. He's a stand up dude,
Yeah,
and I met him through like a network group of like podcasters and label owners, and we hit it off. I had him on, and then when he approached me about helping him, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So something you just said, I get the same, I don't know, outlook from other people too. I'm just the guy who stands in the back,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
we're,
I mean,
I'm
it might just be so like actual physical. So like, I'm sitting in my living room right now talking into a computer. It's not like I
yeah,
cringe at something I said, but whatever, But like, it's not gonna be a memory someone has of me talking some awful shit at O'Brien's and like I'm just, whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny to not be the social creature that people don't know you as, Um, especially as someone like you said who like book shows and I have to when I book a show, I have to be like, "Oh, hey, you're not from the city, you know nothing about this. Go here if you're vegan. Go here if you like skateboarding.
awesome,
Anything
yeah.
you need, let me know." And then, I go to my corner and sequester myself over by the water for a couple hours, unless
Yeah,
I'm
I tell you, I do the same thing. I worked in bars for a long time, and like I remember I was down in Tennessee, and like I had like a group of regulars that always come in, and when I'm behind the bar, I'm like super. It's like when I'm doing the podcast, I'm super extroverted, right? So like I'm always like they're always having a good time. So then they invite me to like this like 4th of July party or something, and I go and I'm just standing there, and they're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm having fun." Like
having a great time and you're like, "You're not the guy I know though." And
yeah, yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I'm not being paid to be here right now behind the bar,"
yeah,
or I don't have
right,
to
yeah.
it's not always on, you know?
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we're not having fun. It's just our face. That's what I always say. I'm like, this is just
Yeah.
my face. You can't change that.
Actually, Tom C, who plays guitar in Little Low, one time he called it resting shore face because I'm from the South Shore, and Ken's gonna laugh about this, and fucking Jeff's gonna laugh about this. I know one of them called me out on the podcast once about being proud of being from the South Shore or from Stoughton or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, Tom C was like, "Oh yeah, you have resting shore face," because, I don't know. There's the mass hole thing, but I feel like there's also part of it that is like kind of a product of people from the South Shore. Like we do seem to just be ruder or harder, whatever you would call it. I don't know. Harder cookies to crack or whatever.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so like Tom C called it resting shore face, and now I think I don't know if an Unseemlier song was named that and didn't make it on the album, or if it's in my bank of, like, new song titles, but it's somewhere. It'll be you'll see it soon, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's awesome.
but yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the fact that you have 2 albums that came out within, like, a couple months of each other. Like, is that stressful for you? Like, is that, like, 'cause you have, like you said, like, you kinda have to promote both, right?
Yeah, again, it's, like, the one thing I thought about before the podcast was, like, specifically not knowing balance in life, because
Mm,
I know this episode's called "Struggling with Unseemlier." I'm 38, and I still jump into things like I'm 21. You know, like I'm like, oh, you want to record 2 albums and promote 2 albums, and both bands have to play 3 nights a week for 4 months, and you're also booking shows, and you have a job and everything. I don't. At 38, I'm learning balance. Which is
yeah,
a weird
yeah.
thing to say, but like, I've never. It's always just been like gung ho, and the reason I thought about it today is because this is a perfect example of not knowing balance. I think back in March or April, I agreed to run the Falmouth Road Race, which is like a 10K, 7 miles. I'm not a runner. I have ran 5 times, including today, since April. Uh, 3 of them were 1 mile. Last week, I ran 3 miles on a treadmill, and then today in the, like, 90-degree muggy horse shit that I'm gonna have to run in this Sunday that I'm not prepared for.
Sunday?
Yeah, it's this Sunday. I think I ran, like, roughly 2 to 2.5 miles outside.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I wanna talk about the new record for Unseemlier. I have a screw loose somewhere. First off, I love the title, 'cause I really feel like it relates to me. I think it relates to a lot of people. Um, yeah, so I was like, well, first off, let's talk about the band a little bit. So, from what I was reading, like, this was you and some, like, lifelong buddies that made this band?
So,
Yes, yeah.
basically, November of last year, we recorded the LP, so the November before that would have been when the first practice was. So it's gonna be like 3 years in this November. But yeah, I think I got a space at Studio 52. We wrote 5 songs, where it was just me, Kevin, and Pina, and then we went and recorded them with my friend Jason Tucker in Dorchester, and, I think the last recording session was vocals only, and I had Andrea actually come because at that point she was in the band, but, I had already recorded bass for the songs, for the 5-song demo, uh, or EP, whatever you would call it. But yeah, it was basically the EP and the beginning of the band was proof of concept because I didn't know if I could actually do this style of music and feel comfortable doing it. I don't sing and play guitar in bands. It's not something I've ever done. So I mean, I've done backups while playing guitar, but never ever been like main vocalist with an instrument. I can sing and play drums better than I can sing and play guitar, which a lot of people find uh odd, but it's just because drums are old hand. It's the instrument I've done the longest, and um, but yeah, the so I had Pina and Kevin on board, and I didn't really want to ask anybody else because if I was like, oh no, this shit sucks, I'm throwing in the towel. Like I didn't want to waste anybody else's time or money. But, by the time we recorded the EP, or, like, by the first recording session for the EP, I was like, "Alright, well, let's just actually make this, like, a full band." And then we played I think we recorded it in March, and then the first show was, like, April 14th or something like that. And yeah, Andrea played the first show with us, so that's when we actually started to probably be a real band, and that's gonna be 2 years now, is what I'd say from, this November, it'll be, like, 2 years of, like, full throttle, have been playing shows, recorded a record and a half because an EP's, half a record or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's definitely it was like the thing I was worried about most was like, can I play and sing and like do it justice in my own head? Because you're always your own worst critic.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's been going great. And honestly, like every song title's tongue in cheek, and I'm always whenever anybody's like, "Oh yeah, you guys play great," of course I think of 10 things that I fucked up personally during the set. But yeah, I
And it's
mean,
the hardest just to accept the compliment, right? Like
yeah,
it's
dude,
like
it's crazy.
yeah, it's
It's
like you have to like
also
fight yourself not to be like, "Well, I did this." You
it's
know what I mean?
probably yeah, it's probably also the same thing that makes me stand in the corner of a room alone of people that I'm like-minded people that I'm friends with, and I'm still just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, it's great to see you. I'm gonna be over here by myself."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that part of it's always going to be the nerve-wracking part. Like, and just, I'm trying to let go of being super judgmental of myself, which is another funny thing to learn at 38, aside from like learning balance in life. I need to really stop giving a fuck about like just doing what I actually want to do and enjoying it and not being so critical, because no one that plays these shows or goes to these shows is, fucking, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the most professional person on the planet, but yeah. No one that goes to these shows is I don't know, Bill Clinton or something.
No,
Anyway.
yeah, I know, I hear you 'cause, like, I get the same way with everything I do, and, like, I think that's part of the reason why, like, now, like, who we were talking about earlier, like, I just have to go do things now. Like, I'm just gonna do this thing because, I should have done this 25 years ago, but I didn't because I was nervous about this or I had anxiety about that, and, so I yeah, man, I totally get that, and I'm happy you're doing this 'cause
Yeah.
from the moment like when Christine sent me the album link, like I was blown away by it. Like the like your vocal delivery and like in like the cadence of it is like awesome. Like, it's
Thank you.
something, and it reminds me of a I don't know. It reminds me of like an older school kind of like hardcore kind of delivery. You know what I mean? Like the where it was like I don't know. I was just something I've always like I was accustomed to from when I was younger, and
Yeah.
like everything's changed over the years, right? Everything's changed. And I'm not saying it's bad or it's worse or whatever. It's just different, right? And to have that familiar sound, like that familiar cadence in like in a song, I think helped me relate to it that much more, you know?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I used to sing in hardcore bands, that's why. That's that was my main, and then it's the funny thing is people will be like, "Oh yeah, Little Low's a hardcore band," and it's because of the way I play drums because I used to play
Yeah,
drums in hardcore bands.
right.
So, uh,
I just think of music today like just like I try not to like I'm like, yeah, it's got this and this element and this element. Like I don't like we were saying, I can't just be like this is, I don't know, like struggle core or you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't feel a need for that. It's just music. It's rock
Yeah.
and roll. It's
With
all rock and roll.
Unseemlier, I came up with heavy emo or soft punk because you know, I'm punk and I book punk shows and I'll always be a punk. There's nothing not that's never gonna change. I'm fucking, you know, I've lasted long enough where like the lifer thing, it's just who I am and it's who I'm always gonna be. Whether it's in like the way I decide to live outside of a scene or a community in real life, I'm always gonna wear all my clothing until it's falling off my fucking body. I'm gonna be as cheap as possible forever. I'm always gonna try to think about the harm I'm doing to I would be doing to other people around me or animals or whatever. Like I'm always going to think about the environment and like the things that you learn from punk when you're younger. Um, that's always going to be who I am. I'm never going to give that up now. I'm already too far gone. I'm still a freak. So, like I came up with heavy emo soft punk because I have to describe the band to other people.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't care, and like that's the thing. Like if I hear a band, I'm like, "Oh shit, this rocks," or "Oh shit, this honks." I don't need a genre. If I like it, I like it, and if I don't, I don't. And that extends like my main joke is like kids will see me storming through the skate park full speed, headphones in, and they're like, "Oh, that dude's either ripping like Metallica or Slayer, or like if they know about punk and hardcore, I don't know, fucking whatever, Converge, some shit." 9 times out of 10, it's like Darude Sandstorm or like Carly Rae Jepsen or some shit. Like I skate to like techno and pop. Like that's
Yeah.
what I like. And I like that shit to this day. Like I love
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I never cared, when we were growing up, my friends were like, "Oh, I've got a mohawk. I only listen to fucking the Unseen," or like, "And you're an idiot because you like the Get Up Kids." My friends like the Get Up Kids would be like, "Oh, you're weird. You like Converge." Like, I liked it all. I never dressed a certain way. I never like I just was who I was and I never subdivided. And I feel like when what we were talking about earlier, like there doesn't need to be that division. And I don't want a genre for my band. I want you to listen to it. And if you fucking like it, you do. And if you don't, you don't. Um, Same thing with genres get goofy with like scene politics or whatever you would say. Like people who's cool, good dudes backed hard, like all that stuff. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. If your band rocks, you rock. I'd rather not see a picture of you. I'd rather not see if you dress. I think you dress like an asshole. Because if you dress like an asshole, but I like your music, that's what I'm judging. Is your music is whatever. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters as long as you're not. You know.
Piece of shit.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Separating
yeah,
the
yeah.
art from the artist only goes so far. Type shit.
I agree with
Um,
that. I agree with that. Yeah.
but
Right
yeah.
on.
So yeah, Unseemlier has been wonderful and daunting at the same time is where I'll end that one.
No, I like it, man. I hope to be able to catch a show soon with you guys because
Yeah,
it like I said, it's right up my alley. Like it's
nice.
just it's just and again like it's got this like it's got all these different elements, so it doesn't have to be anything in particular like we were just talking about. So
Yeah,
I think that and then like lyrically like I mean you're singing about struggles and you know what I mean and like that's to me that's what I gravitate like like I like all things, but like I think I gravitate more to like lyrical content that is like that talks about issues like within yourselves because being I mean I'm a little older, but like growing up, like we weren't allowed to talk about mental health and shit.
but
Like
yeah, for sure. I
and
actually
if
did a
I did, I'd probably be a lot fucking different than I am.
I did a podcast about that exact thing too, and like I was talking about everyone I talk about, or I mean everyone. It's like, oh, like let's someone's coming up with some idea. That podcast was specifically about how I still won't go get mental health help at
Mm,
38 because of the way I was raised and
yeah.
like beating that like because a lot of the Unseemlier record is essentially about that. It's about my mental health. Also what we talked about earlier, not knowing how to slow the fuck down, like just pushing yourself way too hard. Um but yeah, it's like it's always been a hard thing to talk about and and like frowned upon like you said like uh you know a lot of like no one even said the term toxic masculinity like in public until like 2010ish era of stuff and like it's the world is evolving. I want to evolve with it and I also want to be gentler on myself because I wasn't taught that growing up and you also were not taught that growing up. um but that's also another thing where the heavy emo moniker came in. The topics of the songs, like, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, emo, you're crying about you lost your girlfriend," like blah blah blah. Like everybody has their preconceived notions. Like, no, I'm talking about losing my high school best friend to heroin. I'm talking about fucking, being beaten up for being too soft. Like the like actual heavy shit that I've experienced in my life, as opposed to because everybody's going to have some preconceived notion if you sound emo or you just say that you're an emo band. Oh, all your songs are crying about an ex, and it's like that's not what it is.
Yeah,
But
that's just dipshits not wanting to like, I don't know. I get frustrated with that because like I started therapy in 2016 and like I didn't talk for like the first year. I'd answer questions, but I didn't go in there and like trust this person. You know what I mean? I kept it all in and then I finally like and I think because of my therapy is why this podcast became kind of what it was because like I started doing that I started like talking about mental health on the podcast. We have episodes that are like I do like these ones called struggling with ourselves and like it's just me talking about like some shit that I went through or where I'm going through or it's because like the number one and this is something that relates to punk rock too if I could be honest like the number one thing that got me into punk rock and like and has me do what I do with this podcast is like, because I always felt isolated and alone, and we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be able to get out there and like and again, that's, I mean, I remember like that's what it was for punk rock when I was like, oh, someone else feels like this. You know what I mean? Like, and it just with me, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely I think punk rock has always been a blessing and a burden because it made me the freak that I am, but it allowed me to be the freak that I always was going to be anyway, you know?
Mhm.
Um like it gave me the perfect vehicle to be angry when I need to be angry, sad when I need to be sad. It taught me to not be a piece of shit, to care about the people around me more than, like a cuz I think that I think that it sucks, but even like today in society, like my values and ethics are vastly different than the average 38-year-old white man in America. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot more they're I see it's reflected even in my own father, where, not to get too far into it, but like growing up, he's the one who taught me empathy. And now with the Fox News and the culture shift and the way the world is nowadays, it's all about protecting your own and all this shit. And it's like, no, that you taught me to give my neighbor the shirt off my back if they needed it. Like where has that gone? And I feel like punk is what gave me that vehicle where all of that extended, and like I am still that person who learned those lessons at a young age instead of just assimilating to normal society. And
Mhm.
you know just I don't I hate, normal people are fine, or norms, or whatever people call it, but it just seems like a lot of people I encounter who don't have that background have, less of a communal mindset, and they have less of an empathetic mindset, and it's more so like I'm getting my bills paid, and you know they don't it seems joyless, honestly, to exist in that society and not have something like punk, um to like bounce different ideas off of, or like get a different perspective from. um but yeah, it's been a blessing and a burden because I'm broke at 38 as well. But
Yeah, I hear you. I
but it's
hear
'cause I
you.
care more about other things,
Yeah.
that punk taught me.
Right on. Yeah. So from like and kind of like what you're saying, like I grew up where I grew up and the people I grew up with, like to kind of see them like assimilate like the way they did over the last, we'll
Yeah,
say, 4 years, 5 years or so. Like I'm like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like I just I don't understand. Like I was like, maybe I was not thinking the same way, or what? They were just, I don't know. It's just a tough little thing sometimes to grab hold of, you know. Um, yeah. So, but like, yeah, like I said, man, these songs, like every single one of them, like hit. You know what I mean? And they're heavy. They're heavy tunes. Like they really like make you think. And I think a lot of people who listen to it or haven't listened to it but will be listening to it, like they're gonna they're gonna get that, like, hey, I'm not alone feeling from this, you know, like
yeah,
being able to relate and like being able to put yourself out there and like, um I know you say you don't go to therapy, but like this has to be like cathartic, right? Like doing
100%.
writing these songs and putting that out there and you know.
If this record helps someone half as much as it helped me to like write it and get it off my chest, then it's done its job. And but I mean, even if nobody liked it, like again, like I've only heard one complaint in a review, and it was that the sound clips kill the vibe, which I don't get because two of them are buried in songs, and
Yeah.
the other two are fucking hilarious. But either way, um, I feel like that's, I feel like
I have
that's
a
that's the
note
thing that
about that.
what?
I have a note about that,
All right,
dude.
hit me with it.
They don't do that enough anymore. We don't
Exactly.
have there's no more people don't do enough bits and they don't have enough little samples of like stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be a common thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss.
I appreciated it, dude. I
Hell yeah.
really, even on the first EP you guys put out, there was some on there too.
But yeah, that one, there was a fucking 2.5 minute Goodwill Hunting speech at the end. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like it. I think it's great. I think it also, like, it kind of, it does a couple things. I think one, it kind of keeps people's attention because now there's something different going on,
Mhm.
you know. But also, I think it kind of breaks up from the heaviness a little bit, right? It kind of like, and I think I know, like, with me, like, I fucking make fun of myself, and that's how I cope with my with my struggles. So why
Yep.
not have a bit, or a sample in a song? Yeah, whoever wrote that, I just don't think they're funny people. Whoever
Yeah,
wrote them.
I mean, to me, I got curbed at 4. They only let me get the 4 on the LP. The rest of the band was like, "That's enough." But, I'd do beginning and end of every single song if I had my way. I have a notes app in my phone that is miles long, so
With
you'll
just
get
like,
some more. Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
good,
They're
good,
coming.
good, good.
They're
You
coming.
put out a B sides, and it's just those. It's
I
just,
mean, honestly, so the vinyl itself doesn't have the sound clips on it, and I think it's because sometimes a pressing plant will reject it if you don't get the rights to it. And I'm like, I'm in a band that we're probably gonna sell 100 of these things. Like, no one's ever gonna Jack Black, unless you tag him in this, is never gonna know that I used his voice for 2 seconds on an LP that's going to fall into obscurity in 10 years from now. And even if he does, he's probably going to think it's fucking funny because
I was
he has
gonna
a
say,
sense of
yeah,
humor and he
yes,
fucking rocks. Same with Adam Sandler and anyone else that's on Danny DeVito, and then the cast of I Heart Huckabees. Those are the 4. It's all that's the no mystery.
no
Um,
mystery. You
no
didn't leave
mystery.
anything for
It's
them to
those
figure out
people.
on their own.
Um, but yeah, no, it's like I think it adds a little something to it, and like some of them, like the song that has the clip before and after it, it's about the stress of working. And like, the first clip is the Jack Black, "I hate my job, I'm gonna burn this mother down" thing. And then the very end is Adam Sandler begging for a job in a bank because he's broke. Like, I don't know. Not to go too far into it. I don't think I'm a fucking genius or anything, but I thought that shit was great. I thought it was
No,
funny.
I think it
Um,
worked. I think it worked very well.
yeah. But and yeah, there's plenty more in my notes app, so don't worry about it. I'm never changing that. But yeah, no, the again, writing this record, like it was something I felt like I had to do, and I definitely, I, I will apologize to the people around me while I was writing this record because I was probably pretty insufferable. But yeah, I don't. I've always had shit to say, and you don't always have a great way to say it. So, I started another band to say that shit, and people like
Mm.
it, or people have liked it so far. So I'm very thankful for that too. Cause, again, when you're your own harshest critic, if someone else says something, you're like, oh, maybe I don't suck that bad. Maybe this could be good. Who knows? And then you end up here talking about your own record and cringing. But, uh, but
So, how did you meet, like, Sell the Heart? Did you meet Andy while you were out in California? Is that how you?
Yeah, so, Andy does Sell the Heart up in, like, Petaluma/Santa Rosa, which is, like, a little bit north of where I was living. But, I was booking shows in the Bay, and he hit me up one time and was like, "Hey, I got this band." I think the first show I booked of a band that was on his label might have been the Dread Laramie.
Mhm.
But, he's like, "Yeah, can you do the show? I see you book shows in Oakland." He came down to the show, and at that specific show, we had a really good conversation about, like, how he would put out records for bands that would just seem to, like, think that they would just sell, and, wouldn't be on a podcast talking about the record, or, wouldn't do much for it. And then he'd have like 100 laying in his closet. And I'm just like, dude, like, I've been in bands where, like, sadly, the record didn't sell and it is definitely rotting in someone's closet right now. I wish I had more control over that, but you always have to hustle. You always have to do it. We had a really, really good conversation about it. So, when it was time for Unseemlier to put out the EP, I was like, Andy, and like, I definitely bombarded him with it. I was like, Andy, I got this thing. Do you want to do it? He's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. Here's my timeline. I was like, no, it's already recorded and I'm putting it up on Bandcamp next week. Do you want to do it or not? And he was like, dude, he's like, there's gonna be no PR for it. There's no like campaign. And I was like, yeah, man, it's totally fine. Like, I already paid for the 100 tapes. And he's like, cool. Well, I will put it out on CD. You put it out on tape. We'll do 50-50 split and sell what we can. And it'll be on Sell the Heart. And I was like, cool. And then, honestly, I feel like it was more of a burden than a blessing for him. I think he still probably has a bunch of the tapes, but either way, um,
Do you still have any tapes?
hell yeah, I got a bunch of them in my closet.
Oh, all right. I want one.
Yeah, for sure, no problem. I carry him to every show we
I bought
play.
the record from Andy like right
Hell yeah,
away.
nice,
Yeah, yeah, I ordered the record right after I heard it that first night. So,
nice, hell yeah. Thank you
yeah,
for that.
yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, no, every other day I'm like, Andy, how many have we sold? Andy, how many have we sold? Andy, how many have we sold? But yeah, so, like, honestly, when the Little Low LP was done before the Unseemlier LP, and, like, I honestly didn't know if Andy would be down. I'm in 2 bands on his label currently, and I didn't wanna, like, push my luck or anything, but I was like, "This is the Little Low record, and, like, you are a label that I respect." Like, I've sent it out to a bunch of other labels, but, like, if you want to do it, let's do it. And yeah, he liked it. And then that one ended up being a split with Thousand Island in Canada and
Yeah,
Water
okay.
Slide in Japan. So
Ooh,
it's got like pretty good distribution and it's definitely out on some continents that I hope to go. I mean, Little Law already went to Canada as you witnessed, but only Montreal. So I'm sure we'll go back. But yeah, he wanted to do that and that, but then I was like, "Oh man, did I burn this bridge? Is he gonna like not want to put out the Unseemlier LP now?" But no, he's cool with everything. And I mean, again, both bands are doing. Little Low just got back from the 5-day weekend, and we're playing Fest. Unseemlier has a 5-day weekend in October, and then we're playing Fest as well. And then I think we're hopefully going to do another 5-dayer before the end of the year. Um, and we're just all we're trying to do as much as you can as a group of. I think the age range is like 35 to 43 or something like that between both bands. So like everybody's trying to like maintain real life and having a job, but also like still doing this type of shit pretty often. Because again, I don't want 100 LPs collecting dust in Andy's closet. I'm gonna feel like a dick,
right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah, and I know, like, I see there's always you guys are always playing shows, and one band or the other, you are, and
Yeah,
that's it again, that's like that's I my hat's off to you because that's I mean, you're working hard, you're working hard. That's what I don't think people quite get. So, I know I didn't, like, I thought, like, because like, in the '90s, there was so much money in the music industry, right? And everybody was making money, and then all of a sudden, no one was making money, and, like, I think it really took me probably to about, like, 2012 to realize, like, the bands I love so much, like, they're just working regular jobs because there's no money in this shit.
yeah, yeah,
It sucks because you deserve it because it's your art, and I think there's a value to art, and I think that, like, it's so underappreciated in the United States than it is everywhere else. So, like,
very
I
true.
and I feel like I try to, like, help with people, like, "Hey, like, let's hopefully you can get over to Europe because, like, I know they appreciate the arts a lot more, but I know you're also still not making a whole lot of money by touring in Europe, right? Right, like, as a so it's just, like, hopefully, I don't know, because I mean, it's essentially being in a band and having a job, right? That's 2 full-time jobs. You're in 2 bands, and then you book shows too, you know what I mean? Like, so, hey, some of us can't stop, right? That's
Yeah,
how I am, dude. I do the podcast, I have the record club, I have these other projects I wanna get off the ground, and and, like, everyone's like, "Oh, you're making money." I'm like, "I'm not making any money. I'll be lucky if, like, the Patreon pays for, like, the fees for the website, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I'm doing this because for a couple reasons. One, because I feel like I need to do it. It's just something I have to do. And the other thing is, like, because I want someone in the middle of, like, Idaho to hear a band like Unseemly, right?
mhm,
That's what I want. Like, I want someone to hear something like how I had to consume music when I was a kid, and it was like the radio, and then you just went to the music store and you found a cassette tape or a record, and then you look at it, and when they thank these other bands, that's how you find new bands, and
Thank
you
you
know,
list. The thank you list is that is and like you were talking about earlier, bands don't do sound clips anymore. I mean, I think I'm the one who ended up vetoing it, but Unseemlier was going to have a thank you list in the record because, you know, like all of us are like when you talk to someone nowadays, you're like, oh, like I remember compilation CDs. I would go to Strawberries in like 99 and I'd buy like a Plea for Peace compilation and it would have At the Drive-In, it would have Converge, it would have 88 Fingers Louie, it would have all of these different bands. And that's how you found your new favorite bands for $3 because
yeah,
everybody's fucking broke. And then you
yeah,
look through, say you loved Converge, and then you go through Converge's thank you list. They thank the Hope Conspiracy, they thank American Nightmare, they thank Botch. You get all those records. And that was at the start of the internet where I think mp3.com was the thing. So every band could have a profile, but they could only put up 2 songs. So I knew 2 AN songs, I knew 2 Hope Conspiracy songs, I knew 2 Converge songs.
mhm.
And those still to this day are my favorite songs by those bands. But yeah, it was a hunt. There was something about it where like I don't know. Again, like you said, you're a very lyrical person. I feel like a lot of people don't read the lyrics anymore, you know? It's like they're like they love and that's fine. You consume how you consume and you enjoy what you enjoy. But like if you were to see me seeing a band I've loved since 2005, I know every word to every single song that they're playing that I like because that was like you just knew them back then. Like you read the lyric book like it was fucking homework,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
A totally different world.
I
But
talk about it too, like, you rip out the J card from a cassette tape, and it looks like a CVS receipt, right? And
yeah, dude,
you're just reading every
just
song 'cause
unfolds. Yeah.
it's just yeah, like, and that's the difference between, like, like the Gen Pop and lifers, right? When it comes
Yeah.
to music, like, and I have this conversation so often with people because like we live in a single world. We live in a single serving, like, instant gratification world, and it sucks. It sucks because like you you all put a lot of like work into it. You know what I mean? So like I don't know. I just like some people I've argued with people about like, oh, the day of the album is over. Like, no, it's not. It's really not. Like, you just like when somebody who loves music goes looking for it, you have to look for the people that you got to look for the listeners too, right? You got to
Yeah.
there's a balance there,
There's
you
always
know.
going to be someone who wants it. There's always going to be some collectible. Like, I mean, I always harp on this one, but like when I was in punk bands in the mid 2000s, you know, like punkflation exists and I'd never wanted to. I still believe that a 7-inch should be $5 and an LP should be $10 and a shirt should be $10. But now all these pressing places are going to cost $1 million to do all this shit. Every price has to go up, sadly. But I remember I was in a band and we were pressing a 7-inch and it was like 2 or 3 week turnaround because no one gave a fuck about records. And then the next year we were pressing a 7-inch and someone had just bought the Beatles discography and was repressing it. We got a 6 to 8 month quote before we could get the records back. And it just fucking destroyed everything from there. It was like a cheap collectible thing. And then it happened again with cassettes. And now cassettes are popular again and it's hard to get those fucking pressed. But the funny thing is, Unseemlier has CDs, and we played with a younger band the other day, and 2 of the members bought the CD, and then the band left, and then the guitarist ran back in and was like, "Yo, you got CDs?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they all bought a CD,
It's
and
like
I
a
was like,
collector's thing now. Is CDs a collector's thing
"Dude,
now?
it's coming back. It's the cheap collector item. Dude, every band needs to press
Oh,
CDs right now
I
for a little
do.
bit."
That makes sense because it is cheaper. It's cheap. It's probably the cheapest of the
This is the
pressing.
cheapest format right now, and this isn't like a jewel case with a booklet or anything. This is literally like cardboard poly wrapped, you know,
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
disc, just a disc. And
No, that's
they were like, "You got CDs?" I was like, "Psh, so you want all of them for $5? You can have the whole stack." Like, I haven't sold these yet.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
know, but no, it's great. I think there's always going to be collectors of physical media, and the same thing. Like me and Christine have been worried about it. When we go to thrift stores, we look for rare movies that we are
Mhm.
going to want to watch. that probably aren't going to be on streaming services soon. So like, I don't know. Right next to me, I've got like, I mean, Empire Records. I don't know if that's number one. I don't know if that'll ever go out of style. But like, I Heart Huckabees. I picked up Orange County recently because I was afraid that I was never going to see it again.
Now, are you picking
Um,
up DVDs or VHS?
I got DVDs actually because a VHS is more bulky and they I mean I know a disc can scratch but a tape can fucking shred inside the machine. Like the amount of times that happened while VHSs were still like a functional media, like I don't know. And they're harder to like I could get rid of all the cases but put 100 DVDs in a CD book and like walk it out the door. But 100 VHSs is three fucking Home Depot boxes. Um, and I'm not getting any younger.
Right, right,
I'm
right,
not trying
right.
to carry that shit around for the rest of my life.
And then unless you know how to fix a VCR, it's gonna age out really like
Yeah,
I mean,
which
it's
is like
already aging out, but yeah.
another thing. Like you can't, it's like it's definitely going to be hard to find someone to fix one of those soon too. You're going to have to know a guy who knows a guy who like does it in his spare time in a garage and buys the parts like in bulk by the hundreds on eBay for 99 cents or something. Um, I mean, I have an obsession with iPods, and I still have two.
Do
Uh,
you?
yeah, yeah, hell yeah. Because and this is again skating with headphones in, where the current iPhone headphone cord goes in, snaps off immediately if I skate with it. And I won't do AirPods because if I fall, they bounce out. They're worth a lot of money. What if I fall? What if it falls out? I skate over it. Like I'd be so pissed. Um, and like everybody in my life's like, they don't fall out anymore. Bullshit. I fall really
Bullshit.
hard.
They
I
fall
fall
out
really hard all the fucking time.
I
That thing.
must have oversized earlobes or ears because, like, they're always fall I'm always catching them. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ." Like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking $200 thing, you know
Dude.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the
So I
thing go
only skate with corded headphones, and actually both of my iPods were fully dead recently. I left
Mm.
one alone for a couple weeks, and then I plugged it in, and it started again today, or well, not today, but a few days ago. But my friend Mike lives in Austin, Texas, and he repairs tiny electronics. So I'm like, the day it actually dies, I'm shipping them both to him to refix. Because yeah, I've had over the past however many years since iPods haven't been popular, I'd say once every 2 years I post on any social media I have, do you have an old iPod? Can I buy it off you?
Mm.
And yeah, it's just I don't know. I kind of always want to have one, but I know eventually it's gonna be completely dead. Um,
Do you have a favorite model? Like a
Not
favorite
really. Anyone that fucking works and has I don't know some good mix of techno and fucking D beat on it. You know, really
I
depends.
I remember when I finally bought an iPod, like, the iPhone came out, so
But yeah,
yeah, it was obsolete right away,
I
and
always
it
had like
so much money on it.
I'd always have like I bought a T-Mobile Sidekick when they were out of style. So
Mhm.
like, you know, the wealthier friends or the friends who grew up a little better off than me, they'd have the brand new iPod and then next Christmas they'd get the new one and I'd buy their old one from them like for a quarter of the price. And I've always been technologically behind like this is a iPhone X like you said that you still have. Like this was gifted to me last year to get rid of my 9, which was like if it was on for more than 30 minutes consecutively, it would burn a hole in my pocket. Like the
Yeah,
skin on my thigh would be red.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've never been like the most technologically advanced, and it shows with the iPod. But I'm surprised I didn't do VHS instead of DVD. Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
uh,
I hope I didn't just open up another door.
no, my back hurts enough. I don't need
Yeah.
that.
Right
iPod is
on.
functional and tiny to carry.
Right on, man, right on. So how long have you been, like, writing songs? Have you always, like, wrote wrote songs and everything like that, or
Um, yeah, I would say even so. Like I know earlier I mentioned that drums is like my main thing, but I got a bass I think in '98 or something before I had drums. I got a bass and a combo amp, and I think my like two of my first bands. One of them was a death metal band, and one of them was like a pop punk band. Like Blink-182 had just gotten really popular, but I also liked Cannibal Corpse at the time. You know, duality, life, whatever.
Yeah, got to balance it.
Exactly. The two genres, Cannibal Corpse and Blink-182.
Like,
Uh,
wait.
anyway, um, so I had a bass and I was playing bass in the death metal band, and then with some friends of mine, but not my best friend. And then my best friend, who like I generally rode BMX with, he was like, I want to be in a band, and he's the one who liked Blink-182. He was the other side of the fence. It's like, I want to be in a band, and our friend already had a guitar, and I had a bass. So I was like, cool, get drums. He's like, no, I want to play bass. And I was like, well, I play bass. He's like, yeah, I don't care. And he went and bought a bass anyway. So I had to buy drums. And then eventually my brother needed a drummer, and he's 2 years older than me and was cooler than me then, but is not cooler than me now. So I blame both of them, Ro and my brother Tom, for making me get drums. But originally in the death metal band, I wrote a song called Death and Destruction, where I wrote all the lyrics, and then I wrote the bass line, and they filled everything else out. And then I feel like even in the bands that I played drums in with my brother, like I would write lyrics to certain songs, and like me and him would sit down and he'd bounce ideas off me. And like one of the bands we were in like 2001 was really, really trying to sound like Thursday. So like I was screaming in the background while he's singing. Um but yeah, I guess since the beginning I've been writing. Whether it's been good or not is up to the public, but but I've been doing it. Been
Right,
doing it for
right.
a long time.
That's good.
Um,
That's good. I think I use writing because, like we were saying, like you said earlier about writing to get it out, like to get, you know what I'm saying, like to kind of get that out and to express yourself. Like when I was young, I didn't know how to express myself, and I kind of still don't. But I use writing as that vehicle to do it because when I was young, like I didn't know what to do other than like freak out. You know what I mean? Just freak out and just lose my mind and like and have a panic attack and then be violent,
yeah,
So then when I learned about creative writing, like when I was young, I was like, oh, this is like I feel normal now. Like after, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's why I asked, like, if you've always been writing, if it's always been if it's always done that thing for you.
Yeah, it kind of has. I definitely have like a cache of stuff that like couldn't really be lyrics that
Yeah.
I've never published that I've always wanted to, but is the inner demons inside of me are like, oh, you're a loser. No one wants to read your writing. Blah 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 blah. Eventually, maybe it'll come out. I've toyed with the idea of just like having a zine of shit that I've written on the merch tables of the bands I play in, and like not really trying to do anything else with it, just having it be there. And, zinesters and people who like that type of shit will check it out. But like, I don't, I've had like wild fantasies of like writing movies and shit, but that's like, I wish, in a perfect world, that's something. But,
Yeah, I wrote screenplays for like
nice.
almost 20 years. I didn't do anything with any of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did for like 20 years. I mean, I was writing screenplays.
When I
It
was
just
like, when I was like really like I was like only touring in bands, and like in between I'd like get like a Planet Fitness $10 a month, and like I'd just spend days in the gym writing movies in my head to like, I don't know, Sepultura or some shit. Like I'd like write like crazy war epics in my head and then never actually do anything with it.
see
Yeah,
that
no,
with
same style. I have like
yeah.
I definitely have like some old notes on my laptop that are like should be screenplays, definitely. But
Mhm.
that's not my strong suit. I do the music because I can hide behind an instrument.
Yeah,
It's
right,
not
right.
just all me.
Yeah,
I have an instrument and three other people to throw the blame at if you don't like it.
yeah. Well, listen, if you ever do that zine idea, let me know because I'd be super interested in reading it. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like
yeah,
if I
I do that thing, like, I just have a collection of, like, essays that I'm
yeah,
putting out soon, and, like, I just, like it's
you're
the
actually
first
putting it
thing.
out?
Yeah, as
Oh,
an
awesome.
audiobook, but as
Nice.
an audiobook, so,
Okay.
yeah, so and, like, I don't know, I might do something with print too, but for right now, I feel like because it's my platform audio, so
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
And it's weird, right? Because like, I've never put anything out before, so I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's, like, nerve-wracking, you know?
Pushing yourself beyond that comfort level is definitely hard. And like it's hard again, it's hard enough as a lyricist but I have fucking 4 instruments and feedback and a bunch of other stuff behind it, like, if someone and again, like we said earlier, sometimes people don't necessarily pay attention to lyrics as much anymore, but pen to paper or just voice on an audio recording, that's a whole 'nother world, and, like, I've thought about it a million times, but I've never actually pulled the trigger on it, and, I don't know, maybe 38's the year, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I think it should be. I think it
Alright,
should.
maybe, I don't know.
Well,
I did
listen,
I
I
did
like your
actually
lyrics. I like your lyrics, so I know I'll like the writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I did actually write a zine once because, but it never actually got published. My friend wanted to do it with me, and I sent him all the info, and it never happened, and I no blame whatsoever. But he's the one who could, like, do a layout and make it look good. Like, I couldn't do a layout, but, I did a 10-day sleep study for, like, at the beginning of COVID, I moved back to Massachusetts for about 11 months. I did a 10-day sleep study, um, and I, like, wrote a zine. I wrote extensive notes the entire time, like, trying to like, I could have no outside stimulation. Like, I brought a guitar and a tiny battery-powered amp, and then I bought a bunch of skate DVDs and a bunch of old thrashers, but other than that, I could only play board games with the nurses or get media that they had already. The DVD player in the room didn't have a clock on it, and they taped over the red button for when it played because I wasn't allowed to have any external light or anything. And I think that it was they were doing like sleep deprivation tests for what the human body can take as far as like I think it was like FDA regulations for like pilots type shit. But the one thing I had to sign before I went into it was that they were legally allowed to make me stay up for 72 hours straight. Um, with no like and like if I was about to fall asleep, a nurse would come in and play a board game with me. And the whole thing was like, you didn't know. Like you didn't know what sleep what section of the whole fucking sleep thing you were getting. And I remembered like I was like really fucking delusional. And then finally they're like, all right, it's time to go to bed. And I was like, great. And then on the very last day in my notes, I was like, I think I should have been let out like 5 hours ago. Like I think I'm getting to like the 10-day mark.
mm,
And like right after I wrote that, the doctor came in, he's like, all right, I got good news. We're gonna let you out in a few hours. I was like, all right, awesome. He's like, do you have any questions? I was like, yes. Am I one of the people that you made stay awake for 72 hours? He looked at me, he goes, yeah, sorry, that was you.
yeah.
So like I
So
was
you
fucking
had no idea.
no,
Like it,
I there's no clocks, no the only thing I wrote letters. I wrote letters to
sure.
people while I was in there and I could receive letters, but they could open the letters to make sure that the people didn't write what day or time it was or anything like that. I had no windows. It was all like fluorescent lighting. And there could be no like outside stimulant that wasn't like um give so like they knew I was vegan, so they fed me vegan, but they made my meals like they had the meals, they had anything like I couldn't have I couldn't bring candy in with me or chips, and nothing that omitted light. So like I couldn't have a cell phone on me, no newspaper because I couldn't know the day. It was like completely taken everything. It was like what a child's nightmares nowadays are about. No
Yeah.
screens, no screens.
I
Uh,
uh I think I would go crazy.
it's the willpower in me that thinks I
Yeah.
can still run 7 miles, not fucking drop dead. And I did it. It was fine. And I
Yeah.
think I got like $5,000 or something sick like that.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
but yeah, I wrote a whole zine
Yeah.
and then it never came out. So maybe
Yeah.
that'll come out at some point too.
Hell yeah.
But I
Hell
feel like
yeah.
that might be boring. I don't know.
You know something else that you do that is a lost art, and I appreciate it when I saw it. You still make flyers.
Hmm.
You hand out flyers. And I saw like so you and Jordan the other night were handing out flyers at the One Fall show. I
Yep.
was like, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
And then you gave me one at O'Brien's. That's
Yeah.
the
At the
first
Glowing
one.
Brain show. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I think that So what I also another thing I do is I put a handbill of of an actual flyer on one side, but on the flip side is a list of all of the shows I have coming up in the area because, 90s walking out of the Palladium, someone would give you a fucking list of everything that was happening that month. Um and yeah, I always flip it over like, "Oh, whole list of shows in the area if you're interested," because, I could be at a one fall show where like people like melodic punk rock, and then but then I'm at a Glowing Brain show where like bands are trying to sound like Motorhead, like two not the same realm, but I don't always book the same realm. So I'm hoping that, there's a whole list, something on there you might like. Um, but on some like weird like witchcraft oogie boogie type bullshit, I feel like if I stop flyering, my shows are all gonna fail. Like I
Yeah.
won't. I'm gonna do it, and I'm probably gonna do it until I die in some form. Um,
I like it. I like that because again, that's I mean, I think that's something that the internet is swell and all, but the algorithms fucking suck.
yep.
You know,
You miss a lot of shit,
yeah,
and then
we just made like a submit your event on our on the website, and it goes right to a calendar. And then once the date's over, it goes to a past events thing. And I'm like trying to get momentum with that because I'm like, there's no algorithm here. Like it's all right there, you know.
it's funny you mentioned that because last night Christine was like, "Let's do Lower Worlds. Let's do a show list where people can submit to it, and once it's gone, it'll knock itself off the calendar."
Oh
Because
yeah,
again, there's no algorithm. You don't miss things, but also there's people who don't want to exist on the internet. There's people who don't want Instagram, and aside from a fucking literal like a pin board at like I don't know Veggie Galaxy, which or like Armageddon Records. Like I pin everything there. I tape it up on any pole that I feel like it won't just get ripped down in 24 hours. But there's people in our subcultures that don't want to exist on the internet, and like
I wish I could not.
same. But those people deserve to be there just as much as me or you. So like I don't know. I'm hoping that they get they get the flyer and they're fucking stoked on it.
Hell yeah,
I
hell
had
yeah.
people in Oakland specifically who were like, "Thank you for doing this. I hate social media. This is wonderful that like you like that. I now I put this on my fridge and I know what's happening around here."
Awesome. That's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, I I feel like my shows will fail if I don't do it. So not only is it something that I think is personally cool, but I'm also superstitious.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Nice.
Listen, man, I know you got stuff to do today, so I'm not going to keep you for anything longer. But you said you have any shows coming up for either band or any shows that you're promoting that you want to talk about?
I wish I had the flyer next to me now.
Yeah.
No, I know that I have August 21st at Faces is No Lights from Oakland, which are actually like I mentioned how like I'd never met Glowing Brain, but they knew me from booking shows. So
Mhm.
No Lights with Teardrops and Bedtime Magic and Unseemlier at Faces on August 21st. And No Lights are really good friends of mine from Oakland. Um, August 28th at O'Brien's, I have Spark of Life from LA, which a funny thing about that band is that for a while they didn't actually have a drummer and they're old hardcore heads. So Fred Armisen is the drummer on most of their most recent recordings. Because yeah, he used to be a punk drummer, so
Yeah. Yeah.
he's on their recordings. But Spark of Life
Nice.
from LA, Something Outrageous from Arizona, Unseemly is also on that one. And then Toluca Lake and Super Down. Then September 20th, Little Low is up at Moonbase One with our friends Brackish from New Jersey, Sadlands from New York, and Yes Chef. Then October 3rd, $500 Signals Midwest, Little Low, and Hey I'm Outside at Faces.
Faces.
Um,
I love Faces so
yeah,
much. It's
Faces is
such a
sick.
far drive though for me, but
Yeah,
I love it there though.
because you're
I
out by
go.
Worcester, right?
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm in between like Worcester and Providence. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a
guitarist on
haul, but I
Seamlier.
go there. I go there. I haven't gone to Moonbase One because it's impossible for me to get to Salem ever.
Little
So
Low played the other night, and Brad, I think he drove an hour and 40 minutes from Worcester
yeah.
to Salem. Is fucked. Um, Last show I have on the books is October 8th, and it's Squint from St. Louis, Missouri, and Prim from Seattle. They're both on Sunday Drive Records. Yeah, And then Little Low and Unseemly are both playing Fest this year. So if anybody's going to Gainesville, that
Hell yeah.
here's this. Little Low Friday night, Unseemly or Saturday night.
Have you played Fest before?
Not in a band that I actually am in, but my friend Alex, who is the head booker at Gilman in Berkeley, California, for the past 3 years, maybe I've filled in on drums for his band Startle at Fest. So like I fly down and we practice the day before and then play the set. But yeah, I mean, none of my actual physical bands have ever played Fest, so, this will be my first year as, like, a contributing writing musician playing Fest, and then Unseemlier is actually playing Tampa Pre-Fest on the Thursday before as well.
Right on, right
Yep, yep.
on.
Us and
That's
Older
aw
Humanity.
that's awesome, that's awesome, and again, I'm hoping I can catch one of these shows. I have to check my work schedule, but, it'll be exciting to see you guys, live because I'm like I said, I was pumped from the moment I heard you guys. I was like, "This is it," yeah, and I just think, like, as a whole, like, what the New England music community has always been such a huge part of my life, and, like, the fact that I'm 44 and it still is, like, and it's all like, it's and they're mostly like newer bands from the ones I was listening to back in the late '90s, early 2000s and stuff. So it's like, to me, like, I think we every so often we get these pockets of like special time, right? And I feel like right now is a real good time for what's going on over here.
We're on a crazy upswing right now, I feel like, and yeah, and it's across the board. It's not just, the stuff that me and you were into. But like you came to that metal show I booked, and I'm not much of a metal dude, but it sold out O'Brien's on a Monday night, which is
Yeah,
nothing to sneeze at on a fucking Monday night.
yeah.
And it was a leather lung, so like a local metal band, party metal band, and then Glowing Brain from Oakland, and then Cartridge, like a D-beat punk band that I used to be roommates with two of them. So I was like, oh, this is a little different. It'll bring a little bit different of a crowd, but it works.
Mhm.
It was great.
Yeah,
And,
cool.
that's a completely different scene than me, I'm normally super involved in, but I was very happy with it. Same thing, like another Oakland band I booked, 'cause my friends, they're like a hardcore punk band. I did that on a Tuesday night at O'Brien's one night and sold it out too. Like that scene, like D-beat punk hardcore is crazy in this area right now. I feel like everything that Little Lower Unseemlier is involved in is doing really fucking well right now. There's
Mhm.
like just so many, like everything across the board, I feel like is doing really well right now in this area. And, it's cool to be part of it.
I hadn't been to a metal show in, like, maybe 20 years, and I went to
Really?
that. My ears, dude, glowing brains, like, they were so loud, I
Yeah.
loved it. I
That shit
wish I
rocked.
brought my earplugs, but I'm old and I forget things, so I forgot my earplugs that night, but, like, that was awesome. And then Leather Lung reminded me of, like, the like, late '80s, early '90s post-hardcore that eventually evolved into nu metal by the end of the decade.
Yeah. I mean, they
Like,
covered Thunderkiss 65 by White Zombie. So I
that's
was like, dude,
exactly what they reminded me of, and then they played that song, and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
yeah,
You
that
know?
shit was crazy.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
so sick.
it was awesome. It was awesome,
Yeah,
so
I feel like you said, we're part of a very special time in music in this area, underground music. And it also might just be because we're all struggling so hard to get through everything with the way the world is and the lack of venues in Boston and all that type of shit. But maybe we're all really rallying to get through this awful time in politics and this lull of venues that we have that is all culminating right now. So we're
mhm.
all just buckling down and doing our best, and it's going really well.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Where can people find you on the internet? Where can they find Unseemlier, Little Low? Where can they find you to book shows? Do you have a website or anything for that?
No. Little Low has a Little Low has a website because Christine's much more professional than I am. All the bands are on Instagram. Both bands are on Instagram. Lower Worlds Booking is the booking Instagram. You could DM me. I literally, like every other person on the planet now, I obsessively look at my phone. But yeah, Instagram for any of it. I mean, the bands are on all the streaming services. I know that half of them are fucking evil. and I wish that I could beat them just like the rest of you. But if you can't beat them, join them or some shit like that. But yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, all that dog shit. Just go to Bandcamp if you hate all those things though, because both bands have Bandcamps, and that's like, I guess, the most righteous thing we have left.
That's what
Um,
yeah, even though Epic Games, like,
yeah,
yeah, who
yeah,
knows what they're gonna do with it though? Who knows what they're gonna do with it?
exactly.
I think
It was,
I'm up to like 900 titles in my Bandcamp right now.
okay, cool. It was wild because when I was living in Oakland, they opened a fucking storefront in downtown Oakland that had like 2 record shelves and like a really nice decked out stage. And they maybe did like 6 shows, and then I don't know what's happening with it now, but like I think one of them was like a Spiritual Cramp show.
Mm.
And like they had like a form to submit. So like I submitted and they got right back to me. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing it right now. Sorry, but maybe next time." But yeah, I feel like it like was like a flash in the pan where Bandcamp had a storefront that they were trying to do.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That would have
Yeah.
been, yeah. I think they sold since then or something, or maybe
Probably.
yeah. I think they own their. Yeah, I don't know how all that stuff works. All I know, it's like you said, it's like probably the best place to go to support the artist is to
Yeah,
Bandcamp.
for sure.
Yeah, or directly through a website to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the
Yeah,
and
Little
stuff.
Low has a website. I think it's littlelow.com or littlelowband.com. Unseemlier, our Instagram is just our name. Lower Worlds Booking, Instagram is just the name. And yeah, that's about it, really. You'll find me on assorted podcasts talking about myself and not loving it, but somehow loving it at the same time simultaneously.
You'll
Uh,
get there. You'll get there.
no, it's fine. Like I said, like I surprise myself every time I do one, and I'm like, "Oh no, you like talking. What's
Yeah,
wrong with you?"
yeah.
Um, but again, I have a screw loose somewhere, so
Yeah, yeah. Right on, right on. Mike, man, let's do this again. If you like, for for whatever, like if you just want to come back and talk, or if you want to like come back and talk more about the booking side of things, we can do that. Whatever you want, just
Yeah,
hit me. All right,
for sure. Sounds good, bud. I
cool.
appreciate you.
Yep.
How am I not myself?
How am I not myself?
Myself. Myself.
How am I not myself?
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 How am I not myself? How am I not myself? How am I not myself?